So we have a few things happening today. Today is Monday. The 14th. And next Monday, which is 7 days from now, will be winter solstice. So what's happening between now and then? A few things. So today with the solar eclipse and new moon in Sagittarius. New moon in Sagittarius is going to be really, really a welcome energy if, all right, let me see if I can say this correctly. This will be a welcome energy if you are able to get clear, I know, I'm going to say it, on what you want and who you are. Because again, Sagittarius season is that fire, and remember that arrow, right? We're pulling back on the arrow and the arrow is going somewhere. But if you aren't choosing a destination for your arrow to fly, it's just going to fly off into wherever it goes. And we don't need to be doing that anymore. We don't need to just shoot off our arrows into the nothingness and hope that it hits a target that we're happy with. We don't need to do that anymore. There was a quote that I posted a little while ago, and I can't even remember who was the person who said it, but it was something like, I shoot the arrow first and then I paint the target around it. And that is not a bad way to look at this. If you can hold on to the energy of what you truly want as you pull back on that arrow and let loose, okay? We have been since October in a space of active choosing. That means every day you are making choices that are going to create your world and the world around you. And I said this last time, which was probably Friday, every time you do something, you put off energy, right? Every time you say something, there's energy that comes off. You're like this walking energy generator and you just ripple out. So we have to be really conscious of our potent creator energy and what we're putting out there, okay? So for today, since we're right at the beginning of the day, on this solar eclipse, on this new moon in Sagittarius, take a moment and just touch base with your choices. Are you living right now in alignment with those choices? Have you, since your full moon release almost 2 weeks ago, have you made room for what is wanting to come in, for what you're calling in? Have you made room for that? Have you tapped into the energy of it and allowed yourself to start to make some choices and some movements that reflect the fact that you believe you're already in that energy? Can you trust fall with the universe? Are you in that space? Because moving through to winter solstice, this is where all of your work pays off, okay? This is like the portal of pure manifestation happening. And if you have been in that space of believing in yourself and truly asking yourself in a serious way, what do I want? What do I want? Who am I? Who am I? If at this point you have a pretty good idea, you're gonna sail through this. I'm not saying you're not gonna feel weird energy and all of the things, but you're gonna sail through this, and I'll tell you why. Because this energy we're in right now was created for all the work you've been doing to come into being, okay? So this is what we wanted. This is what we asked for. And it is the natural progression of things, and it is quite the crescendo. And the energy is gonna get more intense. I've had a few people ask me, okay, is it gonna ease up after this eclipse? And my answer is just not a straight answer, because nothing's a straight answer anymore. Some of the actual pressure should ease up after today. Like right now, I feel like my head is in a vice, and I know why, because it's bananas with this energy. The Schumann resonance this weekend was like, vroom, 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 craziness. So we're feeling that, right? But it's hard to say that moving towards the winter solstice, this is going to ease up. That doesn't make any sense, right? But what is going to happen is you are going to seed some new moon intentions this evening, and they will be carried on the tail of this Sagittarius arrow. So it's time to be bigger. Do not be modest in your manifestation seeds. Allow them to be so big and so full of possibility that you leave room for the universe to fill in some blanks for you, okay? Because we talk about this in all of our moon circles, right? Because one of the things we love to do is give ourselves restrictions on our dreaming, right? We like to say, okay, I don't want to take too much, I don't want to ask for too much, but just a little bit here would be enough. That would be enough for me. That's not how you manifest. That's, I don't know what that is. It's a different way of doing things with energy that does not correspond to the bigness that is available to you at this time. So let's leave that over here and step into a place where you remember that you are this magnificent creator and manifestor being, right? And so you're allowed, give yourself permission, to dream much bigger, and should, because the bigger your dream, the bigger the energy signature, the more change you can create. And we are basically, when we manifest now, we are creating a container for the universe to fill, okay? So make your container nice and big and let the possibilities sprout up. So what does that even mean? If that doesn't make sense to you, what does, right? So if you think about the container analogy, you create this container, you seed, right? We have to be careful that we're not saying, I only want it this way. Because when you say I only want it this way, you are restricting the flow. So it's okay to want something specific, okay? Let's say, I'm like, I really want, this is gonna be so random, I really want to live in Vermont. I want to move to Vermont on a farm, okay? That's what I want. That's my big manifest. I'm gonna seed that tonight. That's me. Farm in Vermont, all the way. That's what I want. Okay, so I seed my intentions, right? And say, I want this farm in Vermont. I can see it. I've done some vision boarding. I got a Pinterest board going with it. I talked to my friends about it, write down all my things, putting all my energy into it. But in my brain, I've told myself that in order to have that farm, there's about a laundry list, 20 items long, that need to be accomplished before the farm can happen, because I'm a total human, right? And I'm like, there's no way I could possibly just up and go move to Vermont until I pay off this mortgage, or my kids are done with school. I have to make sure that, I don't know, there's a million different things, right? So I have put 20 different conditions on the manifestation of my dreams, right? And then I'm gonna probably get a little irritated when, 5-6 years go by and I'm not in my farm in Vermont. But the reason is I've put a billion conditions. So let's not put conditions on our manifestations and our dreams. Instead, let's just send them out there, creating that big container, and let the universe handle it. Because things never actually happen the way we think they should happen. Ever. Think about your life, right? Has anything ever actually happened the way you perfectly planned it out and that made linear sense in your brain? Sometimes we force things to happen that way, but in life, the big things usually happen in a very organic and random way, because we live in a very organic and random system, right? Not as random as you'd think, but random in the sense of creation chaos. So moving into this new moon energy, take your restrictions off, take the gloves off, take all of your limiting beliefs and let them go. You are worthy of anything that you could dream of having. And just because you have something doesn't mean somebody else doesn't have something, because we have that in our brain pretty well as well. We have lack mentality programmed in there that if I have this, then somebody else won't have it. And that's just not a program that we want to bring into 2021, because that program is very damaging. So deep breaths. What do you want? How does it feel for you to move through this amazing portal, this ascension ladder that is bringing you into the next year with full manifesting potential? What does that feel like to you? Because that is what is happening. Today is the day to get really freaking clear on that. So if you are joining us tonight for the new moon and solar eclipse call, we are going to get into that pretty seriously. Do a little meditation, do a little writing, and use our dirt to plant our seeds. And we're also going to look at previous seeds planted and releases as well, because all of those things, using the lunar cycles is, to me, the most important and easiest way to realize how connected you are to universal life force energy. These cycles are literally here so that you can use them to create more, open, connect. They're here for this. We are part of these cycles. We're not apart from them. And the more that we step into our place on this planet and remember what our roles are here, the more we need to remember to use those lunar cycles, because even when we are not consciously doing it, we are doing it. So we don't want to be in autopilot manifest mode anymore. So I hope that makes sense. So for tonight, we're going to totally delve into that. If you are not part of Restoration and you'd like to join us, it's still free. So there is a link. You can use that code and you can join us tonight at 6 p.m. I hope we have a lot live, but if you can't make it live, that's totally fine. The calls are always recorded and sent to you. Oh yes, so I wanted to actually say something about this. This painting is by Amanda Livelsberger, and this actually is here for a reason. I'm totally squirreling on you, but it's Erin's fault. I put this painting here because I purchased this painting at Lionsgate. And Lionsgate, for me, was the beginning of a completely new cycle in my life. It was like this big, woo. So whenever I see this painting, I'm like, remember that? And so I said, you know what, I'm putting it behind me. So whenever I do a live video, it's there to remind me. And I think it is interesting that the honeycombs are on there. Okay, sorry. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Christine. If you hadn't noticed, we are having some sort of technical difficulties because I know I've been talking for quite some time, and just now the notification popped up that I'm live. So sorry about that, guys. And I'm also sorry that I didn't send out my usual post saying that I was going live, but I mean, solar eclipse, new moon, it's got us a little strange. The last thing I want to say to you, besides all of my lectures about manifesting and choosing and knowing who you are, the energy right now is really, really focusing on dream stuff, okay? So pay attention to your dreams. I know it is difficult to not be getting restful sleep, but there is a reason for this. So when you are awake, drink a lot of water, listen to what your body's asking for, even if it's strange. If your body is not thirsty, maybe don't force it. If you suddenly don't want coffee, okay. Just listen to what your body wants right now and fuel it the way it's asking, even if your brain is being weird about it, because our bodies are going through a lot right now, and dreamland is busy, 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 busy. It really feels like a lot of us are doing serious work in dreamland and even connecting with each other, connecting with people that you haven't necessarily spoken to in a long time in dreamland. So don't be surprised if over the next week or so, people reach out to you, or maybe this has already happened, people reach out to you that you haven't connected with in a while. Don't be surprised if that happens, because this is work you're doing in dreamland. We're reconnecting with different energies. We're doing, I don't know what we're doing, but my dreams have been very interesting as well. And before I go to sleep, what I've been doing is anything that's going on in my life that I'm like, I don't really know what's happening here, I'm like, help me figure this out in dreamland. And it usually susses out in some way, or I don't know, left turns and tells me something else. But it might be a good thing for you to try too before you go to sleep, to just say, this is something I'd like some more clarification on, you know, send it through in Dreamland. And also another nice thing to do before you go to sleep is to ask your guides to help you remember what's important. And how that usually will happen is whatever's really important will prompt you to wake up a little bit. And when you're in that slightly awake state, you'll remember that dream. And so that's your cue to either like lock it in tight and like repeat it to yourself, or get up and write it down if you know you're not going to be able to remember it. Because then when you go to sleep again, if you're able to go to sleep after that little wake up, you're likely to have another very vivid dream right after that. That's usually the pattern. So then you'll have two. So it's a good idea when you get that little wake up to figure out the best way that works for you to get that first dream out if it's something you need to remember. Oh, okay. So Christine says, I woke up from a dream and knew it was important, and now I can't remember it. I should have written it down. Right. So that's what I said. There you go, Christine. And don't worry about, you know, all the dreams you've forgotten, because it's just your brain that kind of is not pulling them forward. But anything that you are supposed to understand, retain, receive, all of that, you have it, it's there. So don't worry that you've lost something. Just some things are very helpful to use in our waking life to get some insight on what's happening. I will tell you that I'm getting information in my dreams that the next day happen. So that is happening for me lately, and it's a little weird, but you know, weird in that good way. That's like, ooh, you know, what's life about to be like? But yeah, stuff is really picking up. Should be very interesting. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I'm not pulling cards because I'm waiting to pull cards for this evening's moon circle. So once again, that's 6 p.m. tonight. Restoration people, I have texted you the link, but I am also going to email it to you with all the things. And again, if you're not already in restoration and you'd like to join us for this call, it is free. Use the link there and the code I am ready, and you can join us tonight at 6, or it's emailed to you. Have an amazing day. Rest where you can. I know that is not possible for everybody on a Monday morning, but just deep breaths. And when you're interacting with other humans today, if that is part of your day, just remember how difficult it must be to not have any awareness of what is going on energetically, but to feel it in your body, right? That must be very disorienting and confusing. So have that type of mindset today as you're interacting with other humans, that some people do not know what is going on energetically, and it is very confusing and disorienting for them. So we can have a little bit of compassion even though we're going through it as well, because at the very least, at least we know what's happening. At least we're riding this wave, we're not being like smashed by it, right? So just remember that, and not that you have to go around telling everybody what is happening. You really need an invitation for that. But it's just to have that awareness so you can kind of feel more in a rooted and sovereign place and not be, you know, so very affected by other people acting energetically whack today, because that feels like a very, very good possibility. So deep breaths, take care of yourself, do what you need to do to feel grounded. Know that if you have a pressure headache, I have one too, and that should ease up tomorrow and Wednesday, just a little bit, because we are exiting the eclipse window. So that should help with the vice feeling. So that's exciting to look forward to. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing Monday. Reach out if you need anything. I'm sure I've forgotten to tell you stuff because I'm forgetting everything today, but I love you lots and talk to you soon. If this has helped you, please share, and I will see some of you tonight at 6. Mwah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.